Hello. When I was going through the end of my relationship with my narcissist, I was so desperate to find answers on how long is this going to go on, this feeling inside. And I wanted an answer. When am I going to feel better? When am I going to feel better? How long does this exist? When am I going to feel better? I can't break out of this. And it's during that time that we have a danger and usually a habit of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because we can't picture it, it's too hard. Tried to leave, crying. You can't picture not having not their physical presence in front of you. You can't picture the good times you did have. You're not going to have them anymore. You can't picture not hearing their voice anymore. You can't picture not seeing their face anymore. So you go back and forth and back and forth. And that's what we do, right? Because we can't see an end. We can't see an end. I always was trying to find a mathematical answer. How long will it take? The most I could ever come up with in terms of any kind of breakup is the staple that you'll find where it says, however long you've been in a relationship, it's going to take half that time. No, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's not true. It's not going to take half that time. What it is going to take is you with your head down concentrating on making sure that you sustain the separation. Then, and only then, will you in time feel like yourself again. It does happen. It does happen. I can tell you it does happen. And I can tell you exactly when it started to happen for me. Mathematically, I will give you a concrete answer. Renee, when did you start feeling, when did you stop like looking at your phone? When did you stop looking at your door if he's going to show up? When did you stop, checking your email to see if he tried to contact you? When does that happen? For me, it was about a month, 3 weeks. I think the first time that I went 3 weeks, which is not that long, 3 to 4 weeks of zero contact, no contact, blocking contact, whatever it is that you do, whether you block or not, I still say is a personal choice. If you have the strength to not answer them, if they're contacting you and you are too curious and you want to know when they're contacting you, I'm going to go against the grain of the disciples out there that teach this and say, then don't block. But that's a danger. That's a slippery slope because you're going to see what they're texting you and you're going to be very tempted to get back to them. I tried it both ways. It's very difficult to not block and leave a narcissist because it's too tempting. You hear their messages, although you can hear messages if you block them too, because they can leave you a message and you can find it in blocked messages. But for me, when I got to 3 or 4 weeks that I had not spoken to him, not seen him, suddenly, I'm walking around my house and I stopped seeing his face everywhere. Eventually, you'll recognize yourself again. And you stop seeing his face everywhere, and then it's even in fewer places, and then like in other words, I'm looking around here because this is where we coroned. Okay, we were coroned here last year at this time, corona, right? Hunkered down here. So there's a lot of pockets of areas that we would ate there and swam and whatever we did, right? So it took a while, but I will say between 3 and 4 weeks and the first couple of weeks are grueling. I will tell you every single day, it was, you wake up, you look at your phone. Did he text you overnight? Did he call you overnight? Is there a messaging thing? Is there an email? Whatever it is that you have. And then you decide to block or not block, whatever's good for you. But eventually, I don't even pick up my phone to see if there's an email or if there's any kind of way that he's trying to contact me. I don't even do that. I don't even look at my phone at all anymore to check for him. I don't look out my door to see is he walking up my doorway to knock on my door. because that's what he used to do. He doesn't even live around here anymore. But when I used to not answer, weeks and weeks and weeks would go by, I wouldn't be answering. Knock, knock, knock. And I had my girlfriend say to me, when that happens, just open the door and say, it's not a good time. But no, I'd be like, you want a coffee? That was not very smart. So when I started to feel like myself again, and not doing that and not thinking of that, I made a concrete decision. Finally. And how did I know it was the final time? I didn't until time went on and it proved to me that it was the final time. Time teaches you that it's the final time. Your example of making it through the 3 or 4 weeks in that beginning phase teaches you it's the final time. Anytime I had tried to do it before, I was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I clearly wasn't there yet. But once you get there, and it happens gradually over the course of those 3 or 4 weeks, you'll realize, like, I was stumbling around here for a long time. Or quite some time. I won't say long time, because that denigrates or how do I say, reduces you people that have been in it for a really long time. 10 years, 20 years, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mean a long time. But I was stumbling around here for quite some time trying to find my footing, but it does happen. I can tell you that it does. So if you can get through, and it is hard. God, I know it's hard. I know it is. I really, really do. I really do. And I'm so, so sorry. But if you can take it a week at a time, week 1 is horrible. It's grueling. I know it. I know it. And so is week 2 probably. You start to get to week 3, and just the passage of time alone does heal and help. The passage of time. In order to get that passage of time, you gotta stick it out. You gotta stick it out. And you gotta get through the ugly. You gotta get through the, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. You might be saying to your friend, I can't be without him. I can't be without him. Stop. Just stop. When you feel like that, that is when you need to go and get a piece of paper and a pen, and you need to write down all the infractions that he did to you or she did to you, whatever your pronoun is. And when you look at them in front of your face, I have a big, I mentioned it way in the beginning of my videos, a big whiteboard. Because I remember saying to you guys I was going to write on the whiteboard the videos and things that I've watched and the people that I've watched. And then I caught on to YouTube and realized that they're all in my playlist section. So you can see the people that I watch. So I never did that. But I did use the whiteboard very many times with a big black marker, and I would write June this, July that, September that, blah, blah, blah. I left it on the way and stared at it. This was the end of last summer. And I just stared at it. Day after day after day after day after day. Not to dwell, but to have them right in front of my face so that if I felt weak, I would go, ugh. I remember that day, and oh my God, what am I thinking? And then you start to see not so much the beauty and the romanticized vision of the person, but you start to remember yourself and your intolerance to that behavior. And that might be all you need to push you through that first week. And now you say, I made it a week. Now your next goal is the next week. Don't think about 6 months from now, a year from now. It's too big. That's too big. That's too big. But if you can make it through that first week, okay, now you're on to the next week. Now we need to make another step. You will start to feel like yourself again before you know it. And you will start to walk around your house and remember that you have a value of filling up this space all by yourself, and you don't need to be attached to that person, and you don't need to be worried about that person anymore. Eventually, you'll recognize yourself, I promise. And I feel so bad for those people that are there, because when I was in the place that you are, if you're freshly breaking up or, thinking about this is the time, and you're trying it right now, and you're on week 2, and you're suffering, and you're checking your phone, and you're looking at pictures. And I told you I deleted all my pictures. It was an easy decision. I don't have children with this person. I wasn't married to this person. So, delete. A whole year, delete. The only things that I kept were a couple of pictures he might have been in the background or something, but they connected to Corona. So you want to kind of remember Corona, right? We all want to remember Corona, I think. Or whether we want to forget Corona, but it's certainly a poignant time in our lives. So if there was something connected to a memory to do with quarantine and he happened to be in the background of the picture, I don't mind that. But no, I deleted everything. You don't need to be going through cards and letters and pictures. That will keep you in the place of not recognizing yourself. And you will not start to feel like yourself again if you're immersed in all of that. So you need to put that away. You need to, I'm not telling you to throw it away, put it all away and stop digging through those things. Please stop digging through those things. That serves no purpose for anybody. But by the 3rd or 4th week would be my answer. If you can make it to the 3rd or 4th week, it's like a magical time. I turned a corner and I started to see that behavior as just disgusting and pathetic and sad. Not like, oh, I'm like, it's fascinating how it turns around, because you go from physically, okay, for example, physically, my narcissist is my taste. Physically. So he's so cute though, and you go through that. Like you're going to just miss maybe how you mesh together or whatever. That took a week. That's gone. 2nd week, I'm not thinking of that. Now I'm thinking of, I'm mad. I started to get angry that I let myself do it, that I let him do it to me, okay? By the 3rd week, I'm starting to walk around feeling like myself again. So if you're there, please give it the week by week little test. And if you can make it to 3 weeks, between 3 and 4 weeks, it's like this miraculous corner that you turn. You go through the phases of anger, sadness, bitter, resentment, and those might still linger. You might have been with your guy 30 years. And I am not saying I'm reducing that 30 years down to a 3-week recovery period. It takes a long time to recover from what they put us through. But to start to feel like yourself again, if you just separate from your person and allow that space to foster feelings within yourself of remembrance of yourself, of things in life that you do find joyful, of things around that make you happy, and you do those every single day, you will eventually start to feel like yourself again. I promise. But unfortunately, there's no easy road. You gotta go through those first 2 to 3 weeks of that horrible beginning of the breakup. And I'm hoping that you turn the same corner that I did. For me, it was between 3 and 4 weeks. And you might say, well, Renee, you've said right out to us that you weren't with him that long. No. Under 2 years total, between relationship and back and forth and all that. Under 2 years total. But I don't think that lessens the severity of the actions that were done to a person just because they weren't in it as long. I think the repetitive nature of things happening to you can certainly wear on you and wear on you and wear on you, and no wonder it takes a long time to heal. The repetitive nature, even within a year or 2 years, can take a long time to heal. But to get away from them, no matter how long it's been, and maybe you don't feel like yourself till week 6. For me, it was between 3 and 4 weeks, and I turned a corner. Whatever the case is, you got to get through those first few weeks, though. Please allow yourself that space to reconnect with yourself and what you think is important. Because otherwise, week 3 or week 6 or whenever it is for your journey won't come. You don't start out on week 6 and jump ahead and skip time. You have to allow the passage of time in order to heal. You got to get through it. Chin up, my friends. You can do it.